Which group? Masticomycotina only which having the flagella. You know the which group of algae which having the flagella? Which group of algae which don't having the flagella? Non-flagellated algae. Can you say?
Rhodophyceae member, they have no flagella.
Yes. And Rhodophyceae and
Cyanophyceae.
Cyanophyceae. Yes, these two algae having no flagella. Flagellas are absent in Rhodophyceae and Cyanophyceae. And the remaining all the 9 groups, flagellas are present. And whereas in the fungi, only Masticomycotina is having the flagella. The remaining group, there is no flagella in any stage. There is no movement, motility. You know flagella's types. Also, so many times asking the question about the flagella's types. Fluoronematic, acronematic. You know, fluoronematic means smooth. Fluoronematic means smooth flagella, which are very smooth. Also called as tensile. Tensile type of the flagella. Fluoronematic or tensile. Smooth flagellas. And acronematic, which having the fimbrials that are acronematic. It's having the fimbrials, small feathery air-like structures.
Yes, whiplash.
Yes, whiplash. Whiplash type and tensile type. Fluoronematic.
Carry like appendages over the flagella.
Yes. That is called as?
It is acronematic flagella.
Acronematic. If there is no fimbrials, feathers on the flagella, that are?
Acronematic. That is a fluoronematic.
Fluoronematic. Also called as tensile.
Tensile
Type. Acronematic, also called as whiplash. Corona-like structures. Whiplash. Okay. And then, you know which one is the telomorphic stage of Aspergillus? We came from there, we shifted to here this. Emericella is the perfect stage of the Aspergillus. Which one is the perfect stage of Penicillium? So many times they ask the question. Perfect stage of Aspergillus. Perfect stage of Penicillium. Perfect stage of Cercospora. Which one is the perfect stage of Penicillium? Toleromyces.
Sir, once again.
Toleromyces is the perfect stage. You know the perfect stage means sexual reproduction stage. Whenever we find out the Penicillium aspergillus, they kept in the Deuteromycotina, given the name. Conidias are like brush-like structure, that way given the Penicillium. Penicillium means brush. That's why given the Penicillium name based upon asexual spores, Conidia. Whenever the sexual reproduction identified and they change the name, perfect stage name, that is telomorph. You know, anamorph, telomorph. Asexual stage, we call it as anamorph. Sexual stage, we call it as telomorph. So many times asked the question. Anamorph, telomorph. Anamorph is the asexual stage. Telomorph is the sexual stage. If the sexual stage is absent, that we call as imperfect fungi.
Deuteromyces.
If the sexual reproduction is present, based upon the sexual spores, the remaining 4 types are Masticomycotina, Ascomycotina, Basidiomycotina.
Okay.
If the fibrils flagella is there, that is Masticomycotina. If the zygospore, ball-shaped zygospore is there, that is Zygomycotina. If ascus, saucer-shaped fruiting body, saucer, cup and saucer, that all comes under Ascomycotina.
Apomycosis.
Perithecium, Clistothecium, Apothecium. You know the fruiting bodies of the fungi. Asked so many times all the questions. Fruiting bodies.
Perithecium, apothecium.
Yeah, sexual fructification, sexual fruiting bodies, and asexual fruiting bodies also present in the fungi. Can you say asexual fruiting bodies? What are those? Sexual fruiting bodies and asexual fruiting bodies. Cinnama, Sorodocium, Acerulae. These are asexual bodies, and Pycnidium.
Pycnidium comes under asexual, sir?
No, sexual fruiting body. It releases the pycnidiospore. It makes, the esiospores and pycnidiospores, whereas in the rust fungi, Puccinia. The rust fungi. What type of the life cycle it is in the rust fungi? So many times they ask the question.
Alternate.
Macrocyclic.
Dimorphic. Dimorphic also. Dimorphic, sir?
Yeah, dimorphic.
Is it a dimorphic?
Macrocyclic, heteroecious life cycle. That means it having both the two hosts.
One letter
so many times.
other one letter Barbary.
What is the primary host of Puccinia?
Wheat and Barbary.
Is the wheat plant.
Wheat.
Secondary host is?
Barbary.
Yes. What type of the spores are generated in the primary host? So many times asked the question. Which spores are host? Which spores are formed on the wheat?
Skeletals.
Iridospores and teleospores are formed. Wheat. Iridospores and teleospores are formed on wheat. And which spores are formed on Barbary? Secondary host? Pycniospores, esiospores. These two spores are formed on Barbary. Who studied elaborately about the rusts, Puccinia rusts? K.C. Mehta. Studied, find it out what the cause for the major loss. Monsoon. The spores are spreading by the monsoons from the north to south to north. Which spores are repeating spores or which spores are resting spores in the Puccinia? So many times asked this question. Which spores are resting spores? Which spores are repeating spores in the Puccinia? Iridospores are the repeating spores or resting spores. Iridospores which cause the disease in other plant, other wheat. It causes for the wide spreading of the disease. Okay. Iridospores are dikaryotic. That means single nucleus or binucleus? Iridospore.
Mononucleus.
Uninucleus.
Mono.
Iridospore or binucleus. The two nucleus in the single spore. Teleospores are uninucleus. Bicellular, uninucleate. Teleospores are bicellular, which having the two cells, each cell having the single nucleus.
Sir, can you once again repeat this?
So many times, which among the binuclear spores, which is the
Sir,
resting
can you,
spore, which is the
sir,
spore.
sir, please, can you
Ah.
repeat once again? The iridial spores are it is a dispore.
Also called as repeating spores, also called as
A resting spore.
binuclear. The two nucleus. Two nucleus in the single cell. Red color spores. Irido means red. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
This question on Puccinia so many times asked. Which one is the resting spores? Which one are the repeating spores?
And telegial spores, sir?
What?
Teleospores? Teleospores, sir? What is the nucleus condition of that?
What is the single uninucleus? In the teleospores are
No.
uninucleus. Two cells are
Yeah.
present. That means in the iridospores, it splits into two cells and it gets turned into blackish. After maturity, iridospores get turned into black and single cell, the binucleated single cells separate into two cells. Each cell having the single nucleus. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
The teleospore germinate and it form. Germinated teleospores are called as after teleospore it germinate and it form what stage? Next stage. Third stage is Puccinia life cycle is very, very important. We can get the 20 above questions from single Puccinia. Okay. And then, the difference between anamorph and telomorph. Asexual stage is anamorph. Sexual
Sir,
stage
can you
is
tell me, sir, tell me that the third stage of Puccinia, sir?
basidiospores, which are germinated in soil, not on any other host plant. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir.
And then pycnospores, ichthyospores are germinate on Burberry. Teleospores, iridospores on wheat. Okay?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir.
That's why we calling it heteroecious. Two hosts are present. Heteroecious. And macrocycling, having a long, lengthy life cycle. 5 stages of the spores. Okay. And then these two also very, very important. Majorly asking Aspergillus perfect stage and Penicillium perfect stage. Aspergillus perfect stage is Emersella. Penicillium perfect stage is Toleromyces. These two, so many times they ask the question. Okay. Holomorph means all the fungus, whatever it is, either telomorph or
Entire body.
Telomorph or what is the next? Anamorph.
Anamorph.
Yeah, all the fungi is called as holomorph. All the fungi. Okay. These two are very, very important. And homothallic, heterothallic. Homothallic fungi and heterothallic fungi. What does it mean, the heterothallic fungi? Heterothalism was discovered by heterothalism. On which fungi? So many times ask a question. Heterothallic fungi are heterothalism first discovered by heterothalism is present in 3 questions from the only one word, heterothallic fungi.
Both strains are present in single thallus.
That is
Heterothallic.
That is homothallic. If the different sex are present in the different thalli, that is hetero. Hetero is
I'm
different
confusing.
in the different thallus. Okay, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
That means plus strain and minus strain are separate. That is heterothallic. If the both the sexes are present in the single, that is homothallic.
Neurospora, we can give an example of heterothallic, yes, sir. Neurospora
No.
crassa.
You know the neurospora for what we use? The lot of importance is there for the neurospora crassa.
It is biotechnological bug.
Yes, biotechnology purpose, molecular study.
We can use for molecular studies and genetical recombinant technology also.
Studies. Yeah, that we call as Drosophila fungi. You know, usually the genetic study Drosophila majorly we use. Like that, the neurospora also one of the Drosophila like organism to study very easily about the genetic changes, molecular modifications. That neurospora crassa. So many times that question also asked. Which fungi is used in molecular studies, genetical variation studies? Neurospora crassa. Okay, yeah, you know the aspergillus, rhizopas, mucor, these are heterothallic fungi. No, A. Blacksley discovered heterothallic fungi in Mucor mucido. A. Blacksley first identified the heterothallism in fungi. That is also a very important question. Heterothallism first discovered by A. Blacksley. Heterothallism is present in which fungi? Heterothallism means, okay, and then you know the microscopic and macroscopic fungi. I already told you unicellular fungi also called as holocorphic fungi. Holocorphic. Yeast, Olpidium, Syncytium. Okay. And eucorphic fungi which having the filamentous or thallus like body. You know the filamentous fungi, majority of the filamentous fungi, this already told you, septate, aseptate. Septate again, 3 types. Non-porous, simple porous, doliporous septa. Okay. You know some of the fungi it shows the dimorphism. Dimorphism means which among is the dimorphic fungi? They ask the question. Dimorphic fungi.
Sir, can you give an example for non-porous and simple porous and doliporous?
Yeah, already given. Already taken 5 to 10 minutes for that. Non-septate is the zygomystis fungi, Mucor, Rhizopas, Cenocytic. And simple porous septa is present in Ascomystis. Doliporous septa is present in Basidiomystis. That question also asked so many times. Okay. Then dimorphic, that means sometimes it is as like a single cellular organism, and sometimes if it is a temperature is high or in artificial condition, it will be turning it in as a mycelium. Mycelia means networking hyphae. The plant body of the fungi is hyphae. Okay. That example is usually penicillium, blastomyces, histoplasma. It shows dimorphism. It shows the dimorphism. Okay. Cell wall also. So many times all the question on cell wall of the fungi. Okay. Which one?
18.
Suppose Ascomycetes cell wall is made up of it, or Basidiomycetes cell wall is made up of it, or Zygomycetes cell wall is made up of it. Which fungi is called as Phycomycetes, algae-like fungi? So many times asked the question on the cell wall. You know, in the Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, along with the chitin, glucans, mannans are present. Glucans and mannans. That is very, very important. Glucan and mannans. Okay. And you can see here, see what are there in the Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes. What is the cell wall component?
Chitin, sir.
Usually,
Chitin and
cell wall is made up of fungi cell wall is made up of it.
chitin.
This question also asked so many times. Fungal cell wall is made up of it. Chitin.
Cellulose.
Cellulose. Very good. Fungal cellulose, that is chitin. Chitin. Usually all the plant cell is made up of with cellulose. Fungal cell wall is made up of with chitin. But in the Basidiomycetes, Ascomycetes, along with the chitin, glucans and mannans are present. Glucans and mannans. So many times asked the question. You know, in the Chytidomycetes, Hypocytidomycetes, Oomycetes, the cellulose also present. Along with the chitin, cellulose also present. Mastigomycetes fungi. That's why we also call it as Phycomycetes. We also call it as Phyco. Phyco means, Phyx means algae. Phyx means algae. Phycology. Study about the algae is called as
Mycology.
Phycology, not phycology. Hindi college, phycology kaadu. Phycology. Phycology, algology. Phycology. Don't give the space in between the phi and college.
Okay, sir.
Phycology. Mycology, not mycology. Phycology, mycology. Okay. And then that's why Mastigomycetes fungi also called as Phycomycetes fungi. These questions also asked so many times. Which fungi is called as Phycomycetes? Which fungi are look like algae? Which fungi are look like algae? Mastigomycetes. Mastigomycetes fungi. That means Oomycetes. Chytidomycetes, Hypocytidomycetes, and Oomycetes fungi are called as Phycomycetes. Algal fungi. Phycomycetes. This question also asked so many times. Okay. On the cell wall also asked the question so many times. You remember, glucan and mannans are present in Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Okay, glucan only present in Ascomycetes and mannan also present in Basidiomycetes. Okay,